Hello guys. So in this new series, I'm going to discuss the solution of Sindh Public Service Commission Lecturer Mathematics paper of 2021. So there were 50 questions in total. So I have selected only 40 questions which are related to mathematics, and I'm not going to discuss some other general questions. So let us start. I have chosen paper type C, and there were 50 questions in total, but obviously I'm going to discuss 40 questions. The questions which are only related to mathematics, 2 marks for each correct question and negative 0.5 mark for each incorrect question. And exam was held on March 19th, 2021. So without wasting time, let's begin. The first question is, if functions f and g have domains df and dg respectively, then what is the domain of f over g? So whenever you are finding the domain of f plus g or f minus g or f multiplied by g or f divided by g, you are always supposed to take the intersection, not the union. So you are asked to find out the domain of f plus g or f minus g or f divided by g or f multiplied by g. You are always to take the domain which is intersection of both of these domains. But the problem is when you have division, so you are not supposed to take those values where g becomes 0. So if there is a function g and at some point g becomes 0, that's not an issue in the domain. But if g is in the denominator, that's an issue. So without any further thinking, the correct option is C. It's the intersection of domain df and dg without zeros of function g. That's really simple. And let me tell you, I was discussing GRE subject mathematics, and you know very well that, okay, those questions are really very much technical and they take a lot of time. But in this one, it won't take too much to just discuss these all the questions. So I will try to discuss maybe as many questions as possible in one video. Then I will see that how many videos I'm going to make for this all 40 questions. So let's see. So the second MCQ is a group in which commutative law holds. So it's really very common question. So keep that thing in mind. I'm not going to define any other group because those are so much technical and I'm not good at these things. I will miss many things. So I'm not going to explain, but I'm going to tell you if the commutative law holds, the group is abelian group. That's it. You're not supposed to do anything. With respect to the binary operation, whatever you have, it's addition or multiplication. A star B is B star A for all AB in the group. This is a property what we call commutative law or commutative property. And if this is hold, we say that the group is abelian. So MCQ number 3. So there's a very, very general method, not that much general, but it's a method that is used to solve some sort of partial differential equations, which is called Crank-Nicholson method. So I'm not going to discuss, okay, what is the method, how is the method applied, and what is the technicalities in the method. So because this is going to be in-depth analysis of these all the things. So Crank-Nicholson is used to solve partial differential equations in general, but in general, it is the method for nonlinear, but obviously you can apply for linear partial differential equations as well. So other methods are, let's say, finite difference method, and this is one of the finite difference schemes, and there are finite volume methods, finite element methods to solve differential equations, especially very nonlinear partial differential equations. But it is not the topic to discuss here, so let's move ahead. So the probability distribution having mean and variance equal. So this is really very common question. It is being it is being asked in many times in many exams. It is the Poisson distribution. So you always have a function, what we call PDF, and PDF tells you, okay, there's a function which tells it, okay, what is the probability that the random variable takes a point X value. This is called the PDF of probability distribution. And from the PDF, you find, okay, what is going to be the expectation of the random variable and what is going to be the variance of the random variable. Then you say that, okay, what is an expectation and variance of binomial distribution, of normal distribution, of Poisson distribution, of log normal distribution, and so on and so forth. But I can mention maybe some of the formulas, but I'm going to mention only the formula related to Poisson. The probability that x takes a fixed value x is lambda to the x e to the lambda over x factorial. So the expectation of this probability distribution is lambda, and variance of this probability distribution is also lambda. You're done. And how do you find expectation and variance? It depends upon whether you are using continuous distribution or discrete distribution. So among these, all the distributions, I think B, C, and D are continuous. So for continuous distributions, you use integrals, integral from negative infinity to infinity. So expectation is integral from negative infinity to infinity, x times whatever the PDF is, P of x is equal to x dx. Or we write this thing as f of x. So you can find out what is going to be the expectation if you are given the PDF. But there's also a question where does the PDF come from? So these are other technicalities which we can discuss when we are discussing a course on probability theory. Okay, let's go ahead. MCQ number 5. It's really simple MCQ which you can find in maybe a metric class book or first year class book of mathematics. And this property is that, okay, if I have two real numbers, so either one is less than the other or greater or they are equal, this property is called trichotomy property, because here tri means three. So there are three possibilities that one number is less than other or equal to other or bigger than other. That's it. And you know very well what is associative and what is distributive, what is transitive property. I can tell you what is transitive. Okay, if A is greater than transitive property of inequalities. A is greater than B, B is greater than C, it implies that A is greater than C. This is transitive. So you can transition some sort of property from one point to another point. Okay. So it's really simple, I think. MCQ number 6 is a bit technical. So it says that, okay, which of the following is not a necessary condition for the vector field to be conservative. So the definition is a vector field is conservative if it is independent of path. If its integral is independent of path. So if you are going to integrate a vector field from one point to another point, whatever path you choose, you will get it. So exactly same answer. So you have a point A, you have a point B, you integrate along this curve, a vector field, you can see this thing. So it is independent of any path. So if you integrate along this path, you take this path, you take this path, or you take this path, each time you will get the same answer. This is called conservative vector field. So there exists scalar phi such that this happens. These are the necessary conditions. And this one is also. And this says that not the divergence, but the curl of f is 0 is property. But this is similarly, if this is 0, then implies that this is 0. So these all the conditions are really ambiguous, so we cannot say anything. I think maybe there's a typo in this question. So we are unable to decide that, okay, which one of these is correct option. But all of these are necessary conditions for vector field to be conservative. Yeah. So like we cannot decide, maybe there's a typo or something else, or you can check the exam and tell me in the comments. I will let you know that, okay, what is going to be the correct option. Okay. MCQ number 7 is we have a matrix, which is this. Then A is either orthogonal or non-singular or invertible or both B and C. So first of all, what am I doing? I'm going to find out the determinant of A. And I can just take these zeros and I can expand this determinant with respect to this column and with respect to 1. then I will get cos theta, sin theta, and sin theta, cos theta. Or you can use your own method to find out the determinant. This becomes cos square theta minus sin square theta. You know very well that this is not equal to 0 in general. If you take any particular value of theta, this can be 0, but this is not 0 in general. So it is obviously non-singular because its determinant is not 0. It means it is invertible. The question is it orthogonal? So the property of orthogonal matrices is A times A transpose is identity matrix. You have to check this thing. Okay, so, but like you can check this thing will not be true. So I'm going to exclude these, the first option. So my correct option is option D, which is both B and C. You can just check that, okay, A times A transpose is not going to be the identity matrix, and you're done. So this is really very easy to check. Okay, so MCQ number 8 is really a simple MCQ. Okay, it says that if prime of x is greater than 0, what does it tell about f of x? So it simply tells that, okay, the function is increasing. If prime is greater than 0, increasing. If prime is less than 0, decreasing. If prime is equal to 0, that's going to be the point or the stationary point where the function is neither increasing nor decreasing. Okay, so this is increasing function if f prime of x is greater than 0. So this is really a simple MCQ. We don't need to spend so much time on this one. Number 9 is if A transpose is equal to, so I discussed already that what I can do, I can apply A on both sides. So A times A transpose, and you know very well A times A inverse is identity matrix. Not this one. Okay, this is really the property of this is really how we define orthogonal matrices. So if A transpose is equal to A inverse or A times A transpose is identity matrix, we call this matrix to be orthogonal matrix. But I wrote in this MCQ here, orthogonal matrix. So these are orthogonal matrices in MCQ number 9. So I don't need to do anything further. MCQ number 10 is two vectors U and V are orthonormal if and only if. So orthonormal has two things, ortho and normal. So they should be orthogonal, and normal means the norm of U should be 1 and the norm of V should also be 1. So you can see the correct option is C, which says is both A and B. What is an option A? U and V are orthogonal. They are orthogonal because they are orthonormal, and U and V are unit vectors. So their norm is 1. This is how you define orthonormal vectors. So the correct option is C, which says is both A and B. Okay. MCQ 11. The period of cos 3x plus 2 is. So simply if you have cos ax plus b or sine ax plus b, their period is 2 pi divided by whatever the coefficient is, which is a. So this is the period, 2 pi divided by a. So you don't need to do anything. So the period is going to be 2 pi divided by this coefficient 3. So this is like 2 pi divided by 3, and 3 comes from here, you can see. That's it. Otherwise, you can do it in a different way that, okay, cos 3 with respect to x, I'm writing x plus p, where p is period. This becomes cos 3x plus 3p plus 2. Now the period of cos is, because I replace x by x plus p, the period of cos is 2 pi. So 3p is equal to 2 pi. It implies that p is equal to 2 pi by 3, which is my answer. That's it. So you can do in this way as well, but I don't prefer that method. So MCQ number 12, which is really simple. We need to find out this value, and we are given this equation. So from this equation, you can see 2x square minus 4x plus 5 equals 0. And alpha and beta are roots of this equation. So you know very well, sum of roots is minus b by a. These are the formulas that we study in our first year mathematics. And the product of roots is c by a. Just put the values. B is negative 4. A is 2. This becomes 2. And C is 5. A is 2. This becomes 5 by 2. So we need to find out this value, which is alpha square beta plus alpha beta square. I take alpha beta common and I'm left with alpha plus beta. I need to just put these values over here and I'm done. So alpha times beta is 5 by 2, alpha plus beta is 2. These are cancelled. My answer is 5, which is option D. That's it. So you need to find out sum of roots and product of roots and just put in the formula where you need to find out some values, nothing else. Okay, MCQ number 13 is log x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 0 if and only if. So log 1 is 0. And now I want x plus 3 should be 1 or greater than 1. Because if I'm taking any number and taking its log which is less than 1, then it will give me a negative number, because log of 1 is 0 and log of any number beyond 1 is positive and log of any number below 1 is negative. So this is x is greater than 1 minus 3. So x is greater than or equal to negative 2. This is my domain. So option C, x is greater than or equal to negative 2. MCQ number 14. What is a boundary condition at a fixed boundary of an inviscid fluid? So it's some sort of easy thing which we can study when we are studying fluid dynamics. So it is u dotted with n is equal to 0. I can give an example of that. If you have a boundary, let's say a river is flowing and there is some sort of side of the river or bottom of the river. So the velocity profile will look like this. Velocity, the velocity would not be in the normal direction. Velocity u would be in the horizontal direction to that boundary layer, whatever it is. So since these are orthogonal, so u dotted with n would always be equal to 0. This is like boundary condition at a fixed boundary. So you have a boundary, the fluid will not move in this direction, it will move in this direction. Always, it will move in this direction, but the normal is in this direction, so they are orthogonal. So u dot n is equal to 0. This is your boundary layer and the fluid is moving here in this way and your normal is this. So these are orthogonal. So u dot n is going to be equal to 0. So this is option B. This is really a technical MCQ. If you know a little bit of fluid, you can understand this. Otherwise, maybe it's a bit technical. But okay, like these are being taught when you study PDEs, the basic PDEs. When you study you sometimes study these things as well. Okay, this is really a simple MCQ which is related to the knowledge, nothing else. It says that a matrix is symmetric if all its eigenvalues are positive, then matrix must be, we call that matrix to be SPD. S for symmetric and PD for positive definite. So it's positive definite. So it is symmetric, so it should be symmetric positive definite. Otherwise, positive definite is also okay because all our eigenvalues are positive. That's it. So MCQ number 16 is, it's really a simple MCQ, and this sort of transformation is being taught when you are in, let's say, in college, or when you are going to join a university. In the very first year, you study pre-calculus, and these all the things are taught over there. So if I have a function, I'm adding some positive number to it. It means this is left transformation C units. And if I'm doing this, this is right. If I'm adding anything to the whole function, this is up. If I'm subtracting anything, this is down. So you can see this is this thing which looks like this. So this is left transformation by 2 units. So is it left? I think it is left. No. Yeah, it is left. So let me just verify. Yeah, it is left. It is left. Yeah, it is left. Yeah, I just forgot. No problem. And this is really MCQ that I love because you have normed space and the complete normed spaces are called Banach spaces. You have inner product space, complete inner product spaces are called Hilbert spaces. So this is completeness. So complete normed space is called Banach space. Nothing else. Complete normed spaces are called Banach spaces. That's it. Okay. MCQ number 18 is really simple. So let me just write something. In a group, you have, when you define a group, you check closure, you check associative, you check, what do you check? Identity element, and you check inverse element. So if the first property is satisfied, that is called a groupoid. First two properties are satisfied, that's called a semigroup. So I think our question is X be a non-empty set and star be a binary operation defined on it. If binary operation is closed and associative, then this is called. So it is closed and associative, we call it a semigroup. That's it. You should know what's the order. If there is only closure, that is groupoid. Closure and associative, that's semigroup. If first three properties are satisfied, these three properties, we call it monoid. And if all the properties are satisfied, then we call it a group. That's it. So the correct option is B, which is semigroup. Okay. So next MCQ is really simple. If I give you a number which is bigger than some other number, then can I say this thing? I just state this thing in this way. I give you a number B which is less than A. So B is less than some other number is less than A. What is that other number? That is the average of these two. This always happens. So B is greater than A plus B. You can see in this one, B is greater than A plus B is greater than A. So you can see this is a true statement, not true statement sometimes. It is always a true statement and you can verify by using some numbers, but this is like how we prove it. That's it. But we can prove this thing as well. But I think proving is not that much important. So no need to do that. Okay. But can we prove? The answer is yes. Let me give you some hint. You have to prove this in two parts. Take this first part and prove it. How you are going to prove it? You know very well A is greater than B. I'm going to prove this first part. So what am I doing? I'm adding A on both sides. A. Will this be 2A bigger than A plus B? A plus A 2A? And the right-hand side is b plus a. I can write it a plus b, whatever. I'm just taking this 2 and dividing over there. A is greater than a plus b by 2. So I just proved first part. Similarly, I can prove the other part and I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. Okay, this was MCQ number 19. I'm going to discuss MCQ number 20, which is again really simple MCQ and it's not that much technical. So I have a function. Let me tell you how this function, how the graph of the function look like. So first of all, what are the zeros of the function? I will set x square minus 2x equal to 0. Taking x common would be x minus 2 equals 0. So the value of x is 0 and 2. So these are zeros. One is 0, other is 1, and this is 2. These are zeros. Now I'm going to find out what's going to be the minimum or maximum value. So I'm going to differentiate it, which is 2x minus 2. Setting it equal to 0 will give me the value of x to be 1. So at x is equal to 1, there is maximum or minimum value. But since this graph, this is the coefficient of x square is 1, which is positive, so the graph will be like this. So if I substitute 1 here, so f of 1 would be 1 minus 2, which is negative 1. So at 1, the value is negative 1. So the graph of function will look like this. So look at all the options now. F is increasing on negative 1 to infinity, negative infinity to 1. So till 1, from negative infinity, is it increasing? So no, you can see the function is decreasing. You can see the function is decreasing. So this is incorrect option A. B is decreasing on negative infinity to 2. No, it is decreasing, but till 1, not till 2. So it is also wrong option. 2 are wrong. F is increasing on 1 to infinity. So you can see from 1 to positive infinity, the function is increasing. So C is correct option. These two are not. F is decreasing from infinity to 1. This is, you cannot write. Infinity is bigger than 1, so you cannot write like this. So this option is wrong. This option is wrong. Correct option is C. So, and you're good to go. So we discussed question number 20. I think I'm going to leave rest of the 20 questions for the second part, and I'm going to divide this in 2 parts, and this is okay. I think this is good. So see you in the next video very soon, not too much late, maybe today or tomorrow. So till then, goodbye.